where External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is addressing the plenary session of the Strategic and Commercial Dialogue. We'll take you live there.
Our trilateral with Japan has moved from dialogue into action in exciting areas of regional connectivity and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Excellencies, in view of the rapidly evolving regional and global situation, we look forward to the resuming of the meeting of the trilateral with Afghanistan, consultations on Africa and on multilateral issues within this year. Recently, we successfully launched the first UN peacekeeping course for African partners in New Delhi. This is an apt symbol of our partnership for peace, security and development in the wider world. Our two countries share the same democratic ethos of freedom, equality, pluralism and rule of law. India's enhanced global role is in our mutual interest. It is in this context that we look forward to continue working closely with the US to secure our membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group and permanent membership of the UN Security Council. Excellencies, we want to take our expanding defense cooperation to the next stage of co-production and co-development. For this, we need to define the benefits associated with India's designation as a major defense partner of the US during Prime Minister's visit in June. This would spur defense industry collaboration between India and the US and help India play the desired role as a net provider of security in the region. We have taken some steps to strengthen our cooperation in the area of counter-terrorism as envisaged in the joint declaration issued during the last meeting of this mechanism. There is scope to do a lot more. This would be an important element of our deliberations today. It is heartening to note that we have been able to conclude a framework for the India-US cyber relationship, the first of its kind, both for India and the US with any other country. Our leaders had worked closely together to ensure successful conclusion of the Paris Agreement. India's commitment for implementation of the agreement is firm, and we are taking steps domestically to compress the timeline for its ratification by US. We hope that the next US administration will continue to support the Paris Agreement with the same seriousness and purpose as you have done, and that the goal of mobilizing $100 billion per year from developed countries will be met with firm support from the US government. Our partnership in clean energy has reached fresh impetus through launch of several initiatives that are trained and aimed at facilitating clean energy investments from US into India. We need to significantly strengthen our collaboration in this area on a scale that will make it viable for us to make quantum transition to renewable energy away from fossil fuel and achieve our ambitious climate goals. I would also urge the United States to join the International Solar Alliance as an active member, which will be critical for its success. Excellencies, our citizens are studying, living and earning their livelihood in each other's countries like never before. More than 1 million of our citizens are traveling in both directions every year, many of whom we hope will benefit from early implementation of the US Global Entry Program for Indian nationals. The issue of totalization and recent fee hike for H-1B and L-1 visa has affected our people-to-people exchanges, which is a vital source of strength for our relationship. I am sure these issues will be deliberated in depth in the commercial track of our discussion, but I would urge you to find a just and non-discriminatory solution to these issues. Excellencies, science and technology cooperation has created exciting opportunities. The Joint Commission meeting next month will allow our ministers to discuss them in more detail. India will take part in the Arctic Science Ministerial being hosted by the White House, as well as in our Ocean Conference that you are hosting next month. Today, Indian and American scientists are engaged in jointly funded research from atoms to space, combining India's talent with American infrastructure and transforming lives of millions around the world. I am happy that both sides have decided to explore scaling up of funds for the bilateral Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. We would request your support in early conclusion of Engineers and Scientists Exchange Program Agreement. Indian and American health professionals have come together to eradicate pandemics and conduct research. We would like to develop our cooperation in the area of traditional medicine. American satellites have been successfully launched on Indian launch vehicles this summer at a great reduction of cost. We would request for positive consideration to our request for policy measure to allow launch of commercial US satellites on board Indian vessels. Excellencies, as our colleagues from commerce ministries and the business community will no doubt reflect, trade and investment has continued to grow and more opportunities are opening after the additional reforms that the Government of India took recently. As India unveils transformative economic programs at home, be it smart cities, Make in India, Digital India or renewable energy, the potential for doing business has never looked more appealing. We see the United States as an indispensable partner in achieving these goals. And this is why we need strategic direction and enhanced oversight on our economic and commercial engagement. To make sure aspirations and interests of our businesses get high-level attention, to guarantee that our commercial relations do not remain transactional, and to foster better appreciation for the strategic priorities of our economic policies. It is with that vision that I hope that you will treat the issue of India's membership of the APEC Forum positively. This has as much strategic significance as it has commercial potential. Excellencies, our leaders will see each other again in a few days from now in China and in Laos. My colleagues and I look forward to productive discussion this afternoon to review the wide canvas of our relations and present our assessment to our leaders. Excellency, now I invite you to give your opening remarks. Thank you. Secretary Kerry.
Well, Minister Swaraj, my friend Sushma, thank you very, very much for an extremely generous welcome. Thank you for your very comprehensive review. And thank you to India for not only hosting us here today, but thank you for your tremendous cooperation since the last dialogue. We've been building steady progress. We're delighted to be here. Secretary Pritzker and Minister Sitaraman, it's a pleasure to be with both of you today. There is such a symbiosis, such a synergy between our sectors today. I've often said that economic policy is foreign policy and foreign policy is economic policy in today's world. So we are joined at the hip in this endeavor, and we really appreciate the joint efforts of our teams. I want to say a warm welcome to all of the delegations here, and a thank you to every member of each delegation for all of the hard work that has been done. And I also want to thank Cyrus Mistry, the chairman of Tata Group, and also the CEO of Honeywell, Dave Cody, a good friend of mine. We're delighted with the private sector leadership and the private sector contribution to the dialogue that we will have here. I'm personally very honored to be back in New Delhi and to participate in the second strategic and commercial dialogue between our countries, and I couldn't come at a more important moment. As we begin this dialogue, I hope everybody here will take pride in all that we have accomplished in recent years, and also obviously commit to all that we need to accomplish still as we seek to support one another's growth, our vitality, and particularly in today's world, our security going forward. Our countries have deepened our cooperation on defense, counterterrorism, and cybersecurity. Our armies and our navies hold joint exercises that keep expanding in size and scope, and that now includes thousands of troops every single year. And we look forward to finalizing a cyber framework that will help us all to be able to recognize and to protect against new and evolving threats to global security. I think everybody here would agree that the pace at which technology is moving, while it presents us with enormous gains and great positive changes in the quality of life, the length of life, cures to diseases, all forms of productivity and business and other things, it also presents us with challenges in terms of security, and particularly in terms of cyber. So our economic and our commercial ties, as Secretary Pritzker and Minister Sitaraman will highlight, those are also becoming stronger, but we will leave them to describe what is happening in those sectors. I think everybody would agree, though, that in both sectors, security and economics, we have room to be able to further grow and to expand our two-way trade, our investment, but also to solve security problems in doing that. And I'm speaking specifically of the energy sector, where we have enormous opportunities. One of the reasons that we're here with a sense of enthusiasm is that India is going to be hosting the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in 2017, and that's an exciting opportunity for even more progress. Our collaboration in battling climate change has really been significant, and I thank you, Sushma. I think I spoke to you earlier about this, but and I met with Minister Goyal earlier. We're very grateful for India's joining with the world and particularly offering leadership that made a huge difference in Paris. Overcoming decades of differences, our governments were among the nearly 200 people that came together there in Paris last December to finalize the most ambitious global climate agreement ever reached, and India and this region understand as well as any part of the world what the consequences of inaction are. So I hope we will work together now to bring that agreement into force soon and to ensure that the commitments made under it are implemented. In addition, we're both focused on preserving the health and the sustainability of our maritime resources, and you referred to this a moment ago, Sushma. I appreciate very much India's participation in the Our Ocean Conference that will take place on the 15th and 16th of September in Washington. We're also working to bring new technologies and financing to help India meet its ambitious renewable energy targets. And today, with Minister Goyal, we arrived at an understanding with our envoy, Amos Hochstein, exactly how we are going to be able to proceed forward to try to work on some of the financing that is essential to meeting India's ambitious goal of meeting its demand, which is a natural objective. We also hope to see our civil nuclear cooperation take shape in the form of new reactors that will deliver reliable electricity to tens of millions of Indian households. More broadly, our efforts in science and space, in education and medicine, are bringing needed solutions to press the domestic and the global challenges. And when India and the United States join forces, the beneficial impacts are felt not only in our own country, but believe me, they are felt by many other countries, not just in the region, but they're felt in the lives of millions of people overseas. And this is especially true in the field of public health, where our researchers and our specialists are leading the fight against outbreaks of the Zika virus, of dengue, and of tuberculosis. So that is just to get things started. There's a lot more for us to review, to discuss, to hammer out over the course of the afternoon, the evening, tomorrow. But the fact is that our plate between our two nations is as full now as it has ever been. And I know that every single person here is ready to dig in and do the work necessary to meet our objectives. This will be the last time that I have the privilege of helping to lead this dialogue. As you all know, we're about to have an election, new administration. But I'm very, very confident that we will continue to strengthen what President Obama has called the defining partnership of the 21st century. After all, the United States and India are both global leaders. We are the two strongest and largest democracies in the world. We have enormous connection between our values, and we live in an era when strong and principled and visionary leadership is absolutely essential. It makes all the difference, and we are proud that India is a partner with us in offering that leadership. Thank you, Sushma.
Thank you, Secretary Kerry. May I now